So I just watched that show, the docu-series called Quiet on the Set, and I grew up in the 90s back in the day watching shows on Nickelodeon on cable like All That, Kenan and Kel, The Amanda Show. I had no idea that after watching it, it kind of showed like the guy who was in charge, Dan Schneider. He's kind of a creep according to like all the child actors and the people who used to work at Nickelodeon. I mean, I was just a kid back in the 90s, like, watching shows until you realize all the crude humor that was shown now. Like, showing all those clips. I had no idea. And then, especially after Drake Bell started talking, and now you can understand what he went through. From the S-aid he went through to, like, what he did years later, because he's still paying the price for it. And now I can understand, like, why Amanda Bynes went through what she went through. And a lot of us kids who grew up in the 90s had no idea. And now, after all these years, after watching the documentary, the 4-part documentary, Quiet on Set, it's just shocking. Because I'm like 35 years old now, after I know a lot of people who grew up watching those shows on Nickelodeon. Makes you think that these innuendos, these adult innuendos, that's like crude humor, it's shocking. Especially the guy who played Pickle Boy on The Amanda Show, known as Brian Peck. He's an actual creep. I believe he's a creep. Especially now. Because I remember the day years ago when they said on the news that Dan Schneider was let go. Now we all know why. Especially after watching the docu-series on HBO Max called Quiet on the Set. And I can't believe it, because when I was a kid and everyone else who watched those shows, we were all just kids back in the 90s, didn't know better, and you never know. Especially now, child actors these days, they deserve justice, and all those parents that were like, they didn't get to speak out, or were probably threatened if like you speaked out or you stood up for your kids when something's not right. And this is why we need, like, so many people have to speak out, especially all the adults. And I have a niece who's like a teenager, and back in when she was a kid, I always made sure she watched shows that were appropriate for her age back in the days she was younger. And I can understand why